Let's talk about the housing market. Not just that, but of course that the Fed, raised their interest rates. But this, of course, impacts the housing market. I want to hear from you. What do you expect? You can comment below what you expect to happen here with the housing market. Do you expect a crash? We'll get into why I think there's going to be a correction, but it won't be exactly like 2008 because 2008 was unprecedented and what we are dealing with now is unprecedented. But the commonality is they both share government manipulation, artificial either suppression or inflation of markets. The government never gets it right.
Yeah.
So we're going to see this come to a screeching halt. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but you can hold me to this. I said it earlier. I'm willing to. If you're looking to buy a house, I'd wait till late summer. You're going to see a significant change in price.
Mid-2050.
Yes, mid-2050.
Just rent until then.
Yeah. Let's. We have a clip that the Fed, of course, if you don't know, they just raised the interest rates by. Was it 0.75?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing.
0.75% last night.
The current picture is plain to see.
Is it?
The labor market is extremely tight, and inflation is much too high.
Genius.
Against this backdrop, today the Federal Open Market Committee raised its policy interest rate by 0.75 of a percentage point and anticipates that ongoing increases in that rate will be appropriate.
So that's the biggest rate raised since 1994.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the current rate about 1.5%. And some people are actually projecting a 3%. Interest rate. Now, just to be up to a 3% rate. Now, just to be clear, I know mortgage rates aren't just. I'm not saying that the Fed rate is a mortgage rate, but this does affect the way banks, the way everybody is able to get loans. So it does affect all of these issues, particularly your relationship with your bank. And of course, we've seen mortgage. I think the mortgage rates. Is it above? I know it's above 6. Are we at 7 yet?
It's above 6. I mean, this just happened yesterday, so that rate is going to continue to go up.
Yeah,
so we're probably approaching 7% right now.
On Trump, it was around 3.
I
think
Trump,
we're about 2.5.
2.5. Yeah. Very low. This is very low.
In that range.
Now, keep in mind, though, I will say this is unpopular. These interest rates should have been higher on home mortgages for a much
Probably
longer
a little bit
period.
higher,
Yeah, look, this is artificially keeping these rates low, which is what people got used to. That isn't necessarily a good thing. And the reason that they're raising these rates now is because they say, this is a problem with inflation. Well, let me explain that briefly. Let me just use the housing market as an example. Of course, this affects a lot of issues, but the housing market is an example.
Yeah.
What do you think happens when you keep rates artificially low, right? You keep them down at 2%, for example. What happens is you have a bunch of people purchasing homes that they can't actually afford. They can't actually live in, right? At that point, it's almost like, well, cash is cheap. I'm going to purchase this home. It's a no-brainer at that point, as opposed to when the rates should be actually reflective of the market, which I think we probably should have been for quite a while, 6, 7%, assuming you actually get 20 or 30% down. Well, guess what? We wouldn't have the exact same supply issue that we have now. So it's going to change because I'll get into the supply issues that are taking place and how you're seeing the housing market change. But a lot of people don't understand these rates have been kept artificially low for a significant period of time. Same thing. This is why you were getting what? If you kept it in savings at the bank and we're like, hey, you want to put it in our savings account? Oh, what kind of interest do I get? Well, I don't know. How familiar are you with pi? It's 1/10 of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, for every $100,000, you get $3 a year.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
I'm not even kidding.
Minus our fees, you owe us $18.
Yeah. Pretty good. Here you go.
The thing I hate about these guys is that they always act like they're the smartest people out there, that they are able to manage the market like nobody else. Their stated goal, and I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but it's 2% inflation. And we've been well above that for a long time. For him to come out and go, inflation is high, it's like, yes, it has been for a long time, and you've done nothing. You've done absolutely nothing, and Congress has done nothing to stop it. You've printed more money. You've kept rates artificially low. You know what happens when college, the rates on tuition are kept low because it's a government-backed program? More people go to college and tuition skyrockets. We know that this happens in every industry that you do it. Why would you expect something different in housing?
Right.
Which caused the last depression-ish moment.
I think, in my opinion, this may be worse because a lot of people have been buying homes where they've way overbid. We're talking about $50,000, $100,000, waiving all kinds of what do you call it? The inspections, everything.
Yeah.
So now you have that. The housing value has nowhere to go but down. You have to refinance. You can't because of the rate difference. So now you lose your house. Who's there to scoop it up? Companies that want to buy it to make a renter's class.
And that's exactly what we're showing. So this is what's different from 2008. So 2008, the housing market, look, and this is also what I love. Did you see The Big Short?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a great film. But they also don't tell you a portion of it. And this is why we do the change my mind. I hope that this encourages you. how to think. Not what to think, but how to think. That's why I make all the references available. LiveWithCrowder.com. You can see the link, I think, in the description. I think we're putting it on YouTube. You go to LiveWithCrowder.com. You'll see references for every single show. In 2008, what we were struggling with, and they didn't tell you about this in The Big Short, they just go, predatory lending.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait. What's predatory? Hold on a second. Let's walk through this. How do lenders, banks, how do they make money? By people paying it back. And they pay it back with interest. Okay, that's how they make money. Right. What's predatory lending? You're lending to people who you know can't pay you back. Well, that's retarded. That doesn't make any sense. But they're insured by the government. If people can't pay it back, the government pays it back. Not to mention in the form of bailouts when you're too big to fail, which is exactly what we've deemed organizations like BlackRock, I think Vanguard as well. So what you had was people saying, oh, the rates are low, and I don't have to put any money down because the government said we need equal opportunity in housing. So, yeah, I'll get a $500,000 house giving you 0 down at 2%. Then, all of a sudden, we hit a recession. These people are living well beyond their means, and there was a record number of defaults, foreclosures. That's what happened in 2008.
Yeah.
A little bit different now.
A little bit different now, but it's the same cast of characters, right? The Fed coming in and saying, hey, we're going to help you out. They wrote a book about Alan Greenspan calling him the maestro, right? And saying, oh, man, he was just playing the markets and the economy. He was the guy who led to those policies. He was the guy that led to that kind of lending because of how he handled the rates that led us to 2008. And they're like, oh, well, maybe
Barney Frank's underground brothel didn't help.
No. Well, and in 08, a lot of areas were, going for double what they were actually worth. And you're seeing that now.
Right. Now, here's
getting very close to it.
Right. And here's what you're seeing now. You are seeing a record number of people who purchased homes. Now, these prices have been going up for a few reasons, okay? You have people who've been paid to not work effectively, right? You have people who've just gone out. The rates have been incredibly low. And yes, you combine that with actual wage growth that we saw under Donald Trump. So you saw actual wage growth more than ever in modern American history. And unfortunately, Americans don't say, okay, we've seen an average of, I think it was $5,000 in average salary wage growth for the average American. I don't know if that was a median or the mean. We'll get the reference up. I always forget. But it was about $5,000 in 3 years, whereas Barack Obama, I believe it was $1,000 over the course of 8 years. So they see, okay, real wage growth. Now, they don't say, let me be responsible. Let me take that and use that appropriately. Too many Americans say, oh, that allows me to spend like I got a $10,000 or $20,000 increase. Yeah. They bought homes that they couldn't afford. And now, guess what? We don't really have, despite them saying we have a very powerful, we have the most robust. I love how the Fed and Jean-Pierre didn't actually get their talking points together. No. So this is the most robust economy and job market ever. And the Fed's like, oh, we have a problem with people in homes and we have a problem with inflation. We better do something. Well, hold on a second. You guys, hold on. The White House said that inflation was a good thing. So they can't even keep their story straight. But now you have people who are very likely to become unemployed. And they're going to have to start selling these homes because they're stretched too thin. Now, let me give you a couple of numbers here that are significant. So the total unsold inventory of new houses, and what that means is how many houses are on the market that haven't been purchased yet, right? Spiked from March to April by 447,000 available homes. That's the highest month-to-month jump since May 2008.
Yeah, same deal.
Oh, boy.
So March to April, boom, all of a sudden an explosion. Like the big shitty debt bang of homes now available, right? You were saying everyone's bidding over value?
Oh, big time.
That just changed. Right. Not in every municipality, but across that is a huge, since May 2008. Now, here's something else that people have tried to present to you. They've tried to say, oh, actually, it's a supply issue. It's a supply issue as it relates to homes. There aren't enough homes for people. Well, that's not true because we actually have a very high ratio of homes in this country compared to people who live here. Yeah. Compared to, let's say, the 1950s, compared to, let's say, the 1960s, 70s, 80s, right? I don't know if we're at the record number highest, but certainly close. It's not a supply issue. Yeah. It's about people being encouraged to overbuy irresponsibly issue. And it's also an issue of BlackRock, Vanguard, too big to fail organizations buying up homes left and right. Yeah. So that is kind of the intangible
problem.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of the intangible here. Just to be clear, we may not see a full correction if BlackRock, these big groups who want you to never own a home ever, just to be clear. Yeah. They're not looking out for you, just like John Cena's not looking out for you. But what may cause a crash is, let's say you're Vanguard, let's say you're BlackRock, and you see, the stock market doing so poorly, and you go, well, hold on a second, real estate may not be the best investment. They may decide to migrate some of their investments, let's say, into, I don't know, it could
safer vehicles,
fixed incomes, whatever it could be, municipal. I have no idea. But they might just say, it's time to buy low in the market as opposed to looking at homes right now. This could be a problem. So if they decide to jump ship, then you would be looking at a crash that would make 2008 look like child's play. I don't think we'll fully see that.
Yeah.
but you will see a correction and people saying, well, I really think I deserve my home. Did you put 20, 30% down? No? Then you don't.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.